Welcome. You made it. We're so glad to have you. I just have a few announcements and some logistical things, and then we're going to have Tammy come up and talk to us for a little while. We really do so appreciate that you made the time and took the effort to get here. I know that it is, once you get out of the house, usually it's a lot easier. But then you have the planes and the trains and the automobiles, and I know some of you had some trouble. But anyway, we're really glad that you're here. I do want to make mention that you should all have an insert. This is the up to date schedule. We added some things, we changed some things. And so if you don't have one of these, there are some on the front table. And but this is the one that you're going to need to go by because there were some changes since the book, okay? So, the first thing that you need to notice is that breakfast this morning was in here. Tomorrow morning, breakfast will be where we're going to have all of our other meals, which is at the Crystal Gazebo. And you should have a little map that kind of shows you. We wanted to make sure that you got your 10,000 steps in today and tomorrow and Friday, and we do not have like an ambulance on the ready. So we're going to encourage you to pace yourself. Please don't faint, but you will get your 10,000 steps in while you're here. You should be much healthier when you leave than when you showed up. So we just want you to be better. That's all. We just want you to be better. The other thing that we did add is that on Saturday evening, there is going to be a reception. There's going to be live music, and that'll be after the speakers are over tomorrow. That is going to be in Hermitage A, which is right next door. Okay, and so that was another addition that we put on the schedule. Okay, so if you come up here for breakfast in the morning, you're going to be hungry. It's going to be at the Crystal Gazebo. Okay, so that is all of our scheduling changes, I do believe. We also have for every session, you have one of these in your bag to get you started, but there should be at the end of every table there will be session evaluations. We do really, really encourage you to fill these out just right after the session is over. Fill it out. We'll pick them up, or you can leave them at the front table. Be honest, except for on mine, I do have a little bit of money put aside to make sure that I get all good evaluations. So, but on all the other ones, be just really honest, and because you don't have to sign your name to it, so it's anonymous. But at any rate, we do really encourage you to give us some feedback because this is our first time, so it's really, really important to us that you help us in case we are mad enough to do this again next year. We're not sure, but probably. At any rate, so that's that. And so if we run out of evaluations at the end of the table, then of course we've got more to hand out to you. So if you don't have one, raise your hand. We'll get you one. At the end of the conference, there is the conference evaluation. We also want you to be really honest and give us some good feedback. Again, because if we are mad enough to do this next year, we want it to be even better than it's going to be this year. So that is also in your packet. We want to thank all the speakers that have come, have prepared, and we also want to thank our sponsors because our sponsors allowed us to do some things that we would not have normally been able to do if we had not had our sponsors. So our big sponsor is Mercury. They're going to come up and share later on in the conference. But they are just a development company here in Nashville, and they love to support the things in this community. And so they have been a huge support. They've got a table there in the back, and again, they will be giving a little talk here at the end and letting you know a little bit more about them. And so we really, really do appreciate them. Also, tell me how to say it. Volunteers can't be fired. Ryers.com did all of our dog. Don't you love the dog tags instead of these big, huge things? Don't you love that? The dog tags and the things. Aren't they the best? I love those. They did all of our swag for this. Yes, very nice. We appreciate them. Automatic, another one. iOS Weekly. North Jersey Tattoo. All of our supporters you can read on the bottom. One thing that we do have, if you look on the very back uh, of your booklet, we did Lyft is giving us 2 free rides up to $10. So if you want to go downtown or you want to go anywhere, you will. If you need a ride, then they give you up to 10. So it's like a 15-minute ride basically. So two $10 free rides, but you just need this. Don't they just need this code? What do they? So you just need the code on the back. Trying to think if there's anything that I forgot. Tammy, is there anything I forgot? See? Hmm? Oh. Okay. So we've had a lot of questions about why is there no wireless in the room? There's no wireless in the room. And so there is wireless in the lobby. There's your hotel covers your wireless in all the public areas and in your room. We want you to be really engaged in the speakers and what's going on here. And so if you need to step out to use the wireless, there's LTE in here, and that's, you can use that. But if you need wireless, if you have to step out in the lobby, downstairs you can get wireless. It's just a hop, skip, and a 1,000 steps that way. And so, but we really want you to be engaged instead of being on Facebook and Instagram and all those things. We want you to tweet later, but we really want you to be engaged with the speakers. And so we don't have wireless in the room, but like I said, it's just right down the hall. You'll be able to do that. Also, Janie asked me to mention you. She's got her little service dog Delia with her. She said it is fine for you to come up and pet her, and she's really friendly, really calm, really sweet. And so anyway, she asked me to just mention it's fine. Don't be uncomfortable, whatever. So does anybody have any questions or anything before we get going here? That didn't take 15 minutes, Tammy. No, I shouldn't sing. I shouldn't dance. But I will introduce Tammy. If you're ready to go, we'll just get on ahead of schedule.
Just let everybody know that we're about scheduling. Oh, no, I don't want that. We're going to try and keep on schedule as much as we can, but we also want to be relaxed. We don't want our speakers to feel pressured. We don't want you to feel pressured. We have built-in breaks in between. There's like 10-minute breaks for our wonderful AV team to get our next speaker up. So there's bathrooms back there, and we'll have some break stuff come in a little while. So we want you to be back on time. You'll know exactly when we're doing the next thing. But just take a deep breath. We're here to have a good time. We're not here to, not have a good time. And we're here to exercise, apparently. So there's that.
Yeah, that is another thing. There will be snacks out throughout the day for you to keep your energy up, so you can make your 10,000 steps without the ambulance. So there will be snacks back there, water, sodas, all of those kind of things. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Okay. So first of all, I would like to say a huge thanks for Tammy, because Tammy, says that we kind of planned this together, and we did. But I will tell you that Tammy did almost all the work. And so Tammy did all the graphics, Tammy did all the videos. She really worked hard. She really wants you guys to have a great time. She really wants this to be something that helps you guys in the future and with your future endeavors. She really wanted to give back to the community. So before I introduce her, please give her a round of applause. She has worked so hard. All right, and with that being said, her official introduction. Tammy is an independent creative professional and the host of 2 podcasts, Roundabout Creative Chaos and Invisible Red, which has been on hiatus until this is over. She's also the organizer of Indie DevStock and the founder of Just Write Code, a small independent production company based in West Tennessee. For the most part, Tammy is always working. Always working. She's a contributor on Creative Blog, lynda.com, iMore, and raywinderlich.com, where she serves as the Apple Game Frameworks team lead. When she's not earning a living, Tammy enjoys spending time on her farm with her husband and 2 sons. Her website is tammycoron.com. And so for our first and for our keynote, we welcome Tammy Coron.
I have a special mic because I'm special. And I have my shoes off, so that means we're officially going to begin. And I'm trying something new this time. This here is the only slide you'll see. So, as an independent creative professional, there are times when I feel gone mad, like I've lost my mind. Like at any moment, the crazy is about to set in. This usually happens right around the time when I'm working on something new, or I have a new idea, a new opportunity. Whatever it is, whatever I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure it's crazy. But the truth is, when you're an indie, it's these crazy ideas and opportunities that keep you going. Like this conference, for example. Had you asked me a year ago if I wanted to organize a conference, much less be financially responsible for one, I would have most certainly said no. A very definite, resounding no. Quickly followed up with all these other reasons about why it's a bad idea. You know, I'm way too busy. What do I know about organizing a conference? And my favorite one, which we heard about before, how am I going to pay for it? Where am I going to find the money? Each of these reasons proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that organizing a conference is nothing more than a pipe dream, that of a crazy woman and a crazy idea. So if organizing a conference wasn't even a blip on my radar and the idea itself was crazy, then how did it happen? How are we all here today? Well, mostly it's because I'm stubborn. Anyone in this room probably knows that. And definitely because once the decision was made, the inner monologue of, hey, this is a crazy idea, I had to just push it aside. For those who don't know the story about how this conference actually started, it started with what I call an idea seed, and it was planted during a conversation I had on Slack. And we didn't even talk about conferences. It was just Janie Clayton and I and a bunch of other people in the Slack room, mostly the Wenderlich team. And it was just about coming to my farm, hanging out, having some barbecue, shooting off fireworks, drinking some beer, and maybe talking about Xcode and Swift. Well, that small idea turned into this, minus the fireworks because the stupid fire marshal said I wasn't allowed to shoot them off in here. So, whatever. So is Indie DevStock 100% the way I envisioned it, besides the fireworks thing? Absolutely not. It's still evolving, even today, even during this talk. You see, ideas are dynamic. It's as if they're alive. They take time to grow because they're not born fully developed. They don't pop into your mind instantaneously ready to take on the world. I recently watched a TED Talk by Margaret Heffernan. It was titled, "Forget the Pecking Order at Work." Margaret talked about how no idea is born fully formed. It emerges like a little bit as a child, born kind of messy and confused, but full of possibilities. I agree with Margaret 100% on that. Indie DevStock and even this speech were initially both quite messy and confused, yet filled with possibilities, maybe still a little messy and confused. While I was in the planning stages for this talk, I discovered a book by the name of What Do You Do with an Idea? And it was written by Kobe Yamada and illustrated by May Beeson. I don't know how to pronounce her name. What Do You Do with an Idea is a story about a brilliant idea and the child who helps to bring that idea into the world. I'm pretty sure everyone has been in that situation. You have an idea, perhaps you wonder where it came from or what to do with it. At some point, you may even question the validity of that idea. Is it crazy? Is it stupid? Is it worth the time to pursue it? In some cases, you may try to distance yourself from the idea by saying things like, there's no way I'm going to learn that. How could I possibly write an app or a game? What makes me think I can organize a conference?
That was a pretty interesting idea. The truth is, some ideas are like newborn babies. They're just too darn loud to ignore them. Whether it be a 3 a.m. feeding or a 2 p.m. bath, you have to provide the care and feeding of that child just as you would an idea. The question then becomes, what separates just a passing thought from a powerful idea? You know, an idea you should pursue. Powerful ideas are the ones you can't ignore. You can't forget them, you can't leave them behind. They creep into your dreams, they creep into your conversations, every aspect of your life. They're the ones that keep you up at night, and they're the ones that bring you down during the day. Powerful ideas are the ones you need to listen to. You need to pay close attention to them. They're the ones that change who you are fundamentally at your core. They're the ones that help you grow. They're also the ones that might scare the hell out of you. They might be the ones you're less likely to share with your friends and your family and your colleagues. I mean, really, what would people say if you told them you had this idea? Maybe they'd say, your idea is crazy, or worse. Maybe they'd say, you're crazy. Honestly, if I had a nickel for every time someone hurled the word crazy in my direction, I would be able to pay for this conference. The bottom line is this. It's important to understand, really understand, that it doesn't matter what others think about your idea. And I'm sure you've heard it before, in fact, probably lots of times, but it's especially true in the beginning stages of your idea. The truth is, you simply cannot let the opinions of others discourage you from taking time to fully develop your idea. Let it fester in your mind. Pull out its full potential. Discover it, touch it, hug it, call it George. Forget people that are telling you you're crazy and that your idea is crazy. Let's face it, there's always going to be people in your life, they want to help you. They want to make sure that you're not going to get hurt doing what you're doing. They might even say, look, your idea is good, but maybe you should try something different instead. Unless it's your mother, ignore it. Truth is, they don't offer this advice to be cruel. They really care. They're really trying to keep you from hurting yourself and keep you from staying safe. But if you give up, if you listen to them and you just stop what you're doing, you might be making a mistake. So before you do that, consider your decision carefully. Be deliberate when you're examining your ideas. Really understand why you decide to either proceed or stop. Okay, do it for yourself, not for them. I know I said the opinions of others don't matter, and it's kind of true, but the fact is, in some situations, you do need some trusted individuals to bounce your ideas off of. Is this a good idea? When they tell you what they think, listen closely. Find out if they're being helpful or just simply unable to see your vision, what you're seeing. Only you, really, at your core, can decide what is going on. Your ideas are yours. They're manifestations of your thoughts. It's your job to protect them, keep them safe. You can either dismiss them or set them loose to the world. You're responsible for the life and death of every idea you have. You can take an idea from its first speck of inspiration and grow it into its full potential, or you can show it the door. If you choose the former, amazing things begin to happen. Your ideas take on a life of their own. They go from just being your idea to being something that the world can experience. It's kind of funny, actually. There's almost this symbiotic relationship between you and your ideas. Think about this. The entire time you spent encouraging your ideas to grow, they were in turn causing you to do the same. Almost as if they were trying to thank you for breathing life into them. No one has ever had an idea that didn't cause them to grow, at least in some way. It's true that not every idea is a good idea, but every single one will shape who you are. They will help you possibly get to your next idea. Ashley Spires, she wrote a book and illustrated it, the most magnificent thing. It follows the story of a little girl and her best friend in the whole wide world, Janie. It's a pug. She and her best friend did everything together, and then one day she decided she had this idea to make a magnificent thing. The idea was hers. She knew exactly everything she needed, what she wanted, what she had to create. She just needed an assistant, so she grabbed the pug and said, hey, let's go make this magnificent thing. But in this story, like in so many of our own experiences, the magnificent thing she set out to do turned out to be, well, hardly magnificent. Yeah, that word. After a lot of hard work, along with some creating, she looked at it and said, ooh, yeah, everything I did was wrong. Everything I made was not what I wanted. She didn't quit. She just tried again. She tinkered, the pug tinkered, they all worked and worked and worked, and they kept working, and guess what? Still wrong. Didn't matter. Her idea fell apart. Iteration after iteration, everything wrong. Definitely not magnificent. I said it that time. Yay for me. She was angry. She was tired. She quit. She took her best friend and they went for a walk. It's a make-believe world, so it wasn't like walking around here. They got past every iteration they made, and she was looking at it. And she could have easily gone really back to that angry place and been upset with failure after failure that she just didn't. She looked at everything she made, and she looked at it closely, and she says, you know, some of these things are maybe not perfect, but they're okay. She started to see things differently. She started to work on her designs. She noticed that the bolt on this one worked well, and the shape on the other one fit better. Is that on? Basically, she noticed that everything started to come together. And by the end of the story, she learned enough from her experiences and mistakes that eventually she did make the most magnificent thing, which was cool. The point I'm trying to make is that each idea, each experience we have has a place in making our own magnificent things, whether it be an app, a game, or a conference. Each thing we set out to do requires us to first have an idea, because without these ideas, creating something from nothing just won't happen. Ideas are not guarantees. They don't just automatically mean you'll succeed. You have to listen. It's an opportunity to grow and learn and possibly make something magnificent. As individuals, as business owners, entrepreneurs, designers, developers, mentors, pretty much everyone in this room, we are all responsible for our ideas. We're the ones, like I said, that must provide the care and feeding for them. It's our job to grow them into something we can share with the world. Maybe change it. Who knows? Ideas push us forward, and that's especially true when we allow ourselves to pursue and share the ideas. In fact, sharing ideas is why we're all here today and tomorrow and in the entire weekend. We're here to learn from one another, to grow individually and also as a community. So while you're attending these sessions this weekend, understand that our speakers are sharing their ideas with you. They're bringing you into their spaces. They're letting you explore and experience something they created from an idea. I can tell you that not a single speaker here woke up one day with a completed talk ready to go. Most spent a considerable amount of time researching, prepping, writing, rewriting, practicing, and I'm still seeing new slides show up on my computer. So while each of us have taken a different path to get our talks polished and ready, they all started from the same place, and that's an idea. That having been said, this is the best part. Don't let fear or the naysayers around you force you into giving up. Give your ideas a chance. Give them space to grow, regardless of how crazy they might feel. Because remember, we're all mad here. So that's it. That's the end of my written speech. And some of you may have noticed that I was reading, because I'm very nervous around people. This is all purely ad-libbed. Our ideas do really make us grow. They shape everything we do. Fear keeps us from doing things. I'm terrified. I might cry. I'm terrified that my slides wouldn't work, so I only made one. So what I'm trying to say, if you have an idea and it's a little scary, make it into something that's not so scary. Make it into something that you can take in manageable pieces. Having a lot of slides scared me. Being able to control and read and be a good host scared me. Being in this room with all of you scares me. So I took some of that fear out and I made one slide. I took some of the scariness away, gave myself a teleprompter. Maybe that's not real speakery of me, but that's what I did. I know Angela did a great job with the introductions, and I thank her. Everyone here, from the speakers to the staff's wearing the green shirts, not him, he's cheating. If you see anyone in a green shirt, they're here on their own time. I can't afford to pay them. I can feed, that's about it. But they're here on their own time. We're all here together. You guys have taken time out of your workday. I mean, today's Friday, right? So you all took time out of your workday to be here to grow and learn from one another, which is very important for us as a community. We tend to hide behind our desks, in our phones, in our heads. And we do feel crazy at times. We'll sit there and we'll think, gosh, this idea sounds great. Oh, no, it doesn't. Oh my goodness, how am I going to do slides? Where am I going to find a hotel? What kind of app do I need? What kind of, do I know this API? Who do I need to ask for help? I don't know how to create assets. Where am I going to find an artist? And then you start to feel crazy. And that's where my talk came from. Because when I'm sitting there by myself, behind my computer, in my phone, and I have an idea, sounds great until I think about it. And the fear creeps in. I guess what I'm trying to tell you guys is, if I can get here, where I'm at right now, talking to you, bringing together people that most of you I know from some form, and I look up to you, and you may not know it, but if I can get up here and do this, you guys can do whatever you want. Except him, he's giving me feedback. But really, it's true. And now I'm probably rambling, but I still, this is me, ad-lib. This is who I am. I'm covered in tattoos. Thank you, North Jersey Tattoo. Fantastic job. In fact, I got a tattoo just for the conference. Okay, we're all mad here, and I mean it. We're mad, but we're mad together. A friend of mine told me once that she was batshit crazy. And another friend of hers, a very good friend of hers, said, well, you're my bat. And that's kind of how I feel about you guys. You know, you guys, you're all crazy. And I love every one of you, and I'm glad that you came here. And I think I'm done rambling. So thank you for coming, and go have ideas.